First by horseback, wagons, or on foot, invalids from all over this region flocked to Eureka Springs in 1879 to seek cures from the miraculous healing springs. But soon, there were easier ways to arrive. Stagecoaches and then trains. This laid a base for an early industrial park on the northern edge of town. More convenient transportation into Eureka Springs was one of the first problems to be solved after the rush to the healing springs in 1879. By 1880, the Eureka Springs Railroad Company of Arkansas had formed to connect with the Frisco Rail Line in Missouri. Bringing railroad service through the rugged mountains and across the White River was no easy feat. A passage was blasted out of a cliff near Beaver, north of town, a high trestle bridge erected over the river, track laid down over smaller creeks, and a rail bed cut out of bluffs along Leatherwood Creek. The cost was $200,000, very expensive in 1882. Dr. W. W. Johnson wrote in 1885, "The invalid or tourist who has traveled from east or north can leave St. Louis at night and arrive at the springs the next day. The Kansas City, Springfield, and Memphis Road run Pullman parlor sleeping cars and chair cars the entire length of their line. All trains reach the city in daylight, and at the depot, transfer omnibuses and carriages are in waiting to convey visitors to any hotel or private residence in the city." In 1914, a new limestone depot was built here, but the offices and maintenance shops were moved to Harrison, much to the dismay of the town. Passenger service ended in 1923 and all rail service in the 1950s. Longtime local booster Sam Leith, Mr. Eureka Springs, persuaded the Chamber of Commerce to open a visitors' information and recreation center in the depot. The depot and most of the other buildings in this part of town were neglected until the 1980s, when Robert Dortch and his family brought back the train as the Eureka Springs and North Arkansas Railroad, a short-line scenic ride with a dining car. There were 3 other sites in this early industrial park. Adjacent to the railway was the power plant and ice house, still awaiting restoration. In 1891, a franchise was granted to the Eureka Springs Electric Light and Street Railway Company, giving them the right to construct a power plant and furnish electricity to private consumers and to provide street lighting and street railway here. The plant was powered by coal-fired steam boilers. An ice house was added later. By 1908, it could produce 4 tons of ice daily with 6,400 square feet of cold storage. The ice delivery wagon was a welcome sight to local children in the summertime, as the driver could always be counted on for free ice chips and a fine treat. In the 1940s, the building housed the Ozark Food Processing Company, maker of bunny pot pies and other packaged goods. Across the street were 2 more fine limestone buildings. The Roundhouse was part of the large investment in infrastructure made by the Eureka Improvement Company in the 1890s. This was originally the city's gas works. Later, this building and the one next door were the bottling works and offices for the Eureka Springs Water Company, which sold their patented Ozarka water nationally. By 1907, they were shipping 4 train tanks of Ozarka water each week, with local sales totaling the equivalent of 2 more train cars. The water was piped from Bay and Magnetic Springs near the train depot and other springs within the vicinity. Ozarka branded water continues to be sold today, but is no longer locally owned nor piped from local springs.